This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends. And it's just me and my sidekick and El Guapo and Landon. There's no Tortuga.
His parents are in town a lot.
They are. You think they're really here?
I think it's time for them to just move here.
I mean, that would be great.
No, they're here. They're here. They're like cutting it up at the Tuscany.
What the hell is the Tuscany?
I don't know, man. They just love that shit. Like, there's a certain tour that they go on when they come here. They go to like these places where these like jam bands play. I can't remember the name of the band that they follow. They fucking love it, and they play like the daily at the South Point. It's the full Vegas experience. Like Lamanna's parents, they're here to fuck around and find out.
Marley won the South Point.
She did. 4K. Shout out to Marley.
This is Chico, correct? Is that
Chico and Mary?
Okay.
They love it out here. They absolutely.
I love that for them.
They want to move out here. They also want grandbabies, but Tortoise isn't giving that to them.
Wow.
These moves.
This is what happens when you don't show up. Everybody else gets trashed. We just start talking about Lamanna's lack of children.
Well, he would say that he's a dog dad, so
He is a dog dad. He does have a couple dogs.
I'm gonna defend him.
I'm a former cat dad.
Slightly.
Wow.
It's our next to last day, Chauncey. Are you going to miss me? Yes. Somebody.
We need to get a new cat.
I don't know. We need to crowdsource the Chauncey me. Like,
Wow, look at him.
The me and Chauncey highlight reel.
My heart will go on.
Yeah, to play us out tomorrow. He gonna miss me. He's being extra lovey today too. It's like he knows he's gone.
When's his
Please.
last day?
Sometime next week, I think.
You're here.
Please don't.
We're gonna get demonetized.
As my heart.
Well, that's it, guys.
Yep.
That's it.
This is what
Chauncey's leaving. Summer's over. Well, I mean, summer's not over, but
No, summer's over.
Summer camp is over.
It's all over.
The World Series. Stop it! You weren't alive when the song came out.
I've never even seen the movie.
That's embarrassing.
Wait,
you need a girlfriend so
You've
bad.
never seen Jurassic
You've
Park,
never seen
you
Jurassic
bitch.
Park. You don't talk about people in movies around here.
Listen, Titanic is a movie that you
allowed to
watch
talk
with a
about
girl,
movies.
so therefore I am much more able to talk about this than Landon. You need a girlfriend.
Accepting applications. The 6.5% are because of these shorts, by the way.
Willing to watch Titanic.
I'm not willing, but I would.
You gotta bend a little, man. You gotta give a little to these girls. You know?
That's what the shorts are for.
They need the experience. Nobody wants the fucking Milky Way
There's
legs, man.
6.5% female audience compared to the 3% average is because of my shorts.
It's literally because of Chauncey. Where it's gonna drop to 1 the second the cat leaves.
It's true.
We need a new one then.
He's so happy.
But there's never going to be a cat like Chauncey. Like
we can
Chauncey,
find
right?
we
He's
can
the perfect
find
nose.
another orange cat.
He's the perfect
Podcat.
combination. He's a Sour Patch Kid. He's the perfect combination of sour and sweet.
Yeah, we need a new
Look at him.
pod cat.
Look at him. He's just happy as can be. He's gonna be biting me in 3 seconds.
He scratch me, he bite me, he make me lose my sighting. It's the
What
orange
the
cat.
fuck is wrong
I made a
with you
song for him.
today?
We can't do podcasts after dark with Landon, man. He's like
I'm sleepy.
Tourette's boys. Wild.
No, I know what I'm saying. I know every word that's coming out of my mouth right
I'm
now.
less convinced. All right, give me a summer breakdown. What
Did you win?
I had a good summer.
Okay, then I won.
We'll end with me. How did you guys do?
Did okay. I think I broke even in tournaments. Did okay with like piece buying and swaps and
Okay
cash.
with peace buying.
Okay.
Just okay.
Does Airball Rick count for the summer?
For you, we'll count it.
Then yeah. I actually still have to get paid for that side bet.
Well, wait. Oh, from Danny.
Yeah.
My God, you were stealing it 1-to-1, man.
Yeah. I just
What-
said, no, there's no lines out. You guys want him? I want Matt. Let's just do face. He's like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's a shame you only got 5K down.
I got 7.5. We'll take it. Look, man, this went from me losing 9 bigs per 100 to me getting face.
I won a really nice ego bet today.
Ego bet.
A
Love
very big ego bet.
Love a good ego bet.
There's a regular game. Old Royski. Shout out to Roy. He's the here's the only thing you need to know about Roy. His friend and or cousin, I can't remember, he told me the story, but The first time I played with him was I believe the COVID winter of WSOP. And it was the year that they got rid of the phone charger people in the hallways. And I'm playing with him, and he's sitting to my right.
Series.
And he's like a very talkative, like just never started. This fucking Berkey, he calls every fucking bet on the river. Just never stops, right? So I had gotten a text from somebody saying that they weren't allowing the phone charging people to sell in the hallways anymore at the Rio. And I go, great news, guys. Like, the phone charging people aren't allowed to sell the Rio. He goes, no, fuck that. Bullshit. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, I know for a fact they're allowed. I go, okay, well, I know for a fact that they aren't. And, like, we got around to almost making a bet where I wanted to, like, you know, bet 5K or so. I think Danielle told me, or, like, somebody reputable where I knew they weren't going to be selling. And he goes, I know for a fact that they're selling. It's my cousin who sells them. Yeah, that's all you need to know about Roy. Okay? So Roy is the worst winner I've ever played with in my entire life. A gracious loser, which is actually so much worse, in my opinion. Like, I would so much rather play with a bad loser because they're suffering through the pain of losing. And them being a bad loser,
you can kind of make fun of the whole...
Yeah, you just get to double down on it, right?
It's like grumpy
right,
guy.
but like when he's a good loser, you can't really needle him because he doesn't care. He's a good loser.
Yeah, he's like, nice hand, you
but
got me.
He's the worst winner, and you're the one losing now, getting the needles from him when he's winning, and it's absolutely... It's insufferable, man.
Oh, like if he beat you in a pot, you're just like, couldn't lay it down, Burke.
All he does is have top of range on the river and bets like half pot with ace king on a king high board, and you call him with king queen because what the fuck else are you supposed to do? And he says, fucking Berkey, I knew he would call. He always calls. He never has a fold. Yeah. And it's just so obnoxious. So anyway, he's stuck. Finally, we get him stuck.
Is he a gracious loser or angry loser?
He's a good loser, but you know. It's only a couple hours into the session. He's buried. He's down like 50.
Lock the doors.
And I start talking shit because I'm not just going to let him be a quiet loser and be an obnoxious winner. That's not how this flies.
No.
So I start talking shit, and he goes, I'm going to get fucking unstuck today. You bet me. And I go, 5K. And he goes, $5,000 that I get unstuck. I go, yeah. He goes, booked.
Do I get 5% of this bet?
No. Oh, yeah. I put it in the totals.
Oh, nice.
So he's
Love a good ego bet.
He spots me 50K. I'm immediately on his left, and I get just like 5K that he's not going to book a win.
So he's stuck 50, and you just bet 5K that he's not going to make money.
So he was in for 75. He had to get over 75K.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, when I left, he was in for 160 and had about crumbs in front of him. So he paid me.
That's so sick.
But what happens if you get a text?
I will say I ran a little bit good. First of all, I gave up on a pot that I shouldn't have necessarily. He took this stupid line where I 3-bet him with ace 4 of diamonds, and it came king 8-5 rainbow 1 diamond. I see bet, he called. Turn is the deuce of diamonds. He checks. I bet pot and a half. He calls, and the river's another deuce, and he just leads for third pot. And I'm positive I have the best hand, but like, or let me rephrase. I'm positive he's bluffing.
Okay.
I'm not positive I have the best hand because like the 5 is a non-diamond. I'm trying to figure out like what types of hands call turn that like are mandatory calls in this spot. And it's like, okay, obviously King X, but he's not doing this with King X. So what's left? It's like 5X of diamonds type of hands. And I block, the combo draws because I have the 4 of diamonds. Yeah. So I'm just like, I think, and I look, and I'm like, well, if I call and I'm wrong, he's only down 10K. But if I fold, he's still down like 22K. And that's enough. So I give up on the pot, and he shows 6-4 hearts for a turn double gutter.
That's
no
nice.
diamond. And he's just losing it. Like, I fucking knew you had ace high. You're the worst. It tells everybody the hand history. So it's like, I probably could have won 30K today, but instead I lost 8.
I don't love this for me.
Well, I mean, it's a really, whatever. But then I
thought you were trying not to get skill taxed. You're going to find a way to like bluff or something.
I thought about jamming too, but I was like, if I jam and I'm wrong, he's going to be up 40K, and then I'm going to torch an extra 5 on top of this shove.
Sometimes you're going to play to win. I
know. But I did get a little bit lucky. So first he gets it like 4 hands later. He gets it all in a 3-bet pot with ace queen on king jack 10 4 2 diamonds. and gets it in against a recreational who's in town with ace 5 of diamonds. I'm like,
So it's combo draw.
no,
Gutter.
I mean gutter to
flush
chop.
draw.
Yeah,
Diamond.
diamond right on the second run out. Chop it. He wins $200 in the pot. I'm like, oh, thank you. And then 3 hands later, I 3-bet him with Jack 10 of clubs. Smoking Oaken fucking out of the blue, cold 4s. He 5-bets. I disgustingly fold. Oaken calls. King, Queen, 9, 2 diamonds. I'm sick.
mia.
Wait, you
Yeah.
folded Jack 10 to a 5?
Yeah, man.
was the middle of the
1,500
sandwich.
and it's 15,000 to me.
I
What
mean,
do you?
fuck these guys. You know, you got Jack 10 suited.
He only had 65K in front of him.
Oh, they suck.
I fold. Oaken calls, of course. King, Queen, 9, 2 diamonds and a spade.
That's a good Oaken board.
It's a good Oaken board. It's a good me board. Check, bet, call. Turn is like the 4 of spades. Check, bet, jam. Oaken snaps.
Yes.
And Roy goes, if you have queens, I'm dead. And Oaken doesn't say anything. The first round out's a spade. And he goes, I think that's me. And the second round out pairs the board 9. He goes, that might be you. And Roy turns over ace king. No, just one pair. And Oaken goes, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
And rolls over Jack 10 of spades. I'm like, yes, we win. So
Wow,
that
so
Wait,
Oaken-
you put
Oaken-
the 5 in with the Jack 10 of spades?
bro, this
So
is
Oaken had the Jack.
this is just another fucking Tuesday, man. He can't believe he's on a $500,000 downswing.
And you're not playing again tomorrow?
No, we're done for the summer.
What does that mean?
I mean, we'll take a couple weeks off and then we'll cut the stakes back to 1-1.
We as the group?
Yes.
What was the stakes?
Today was 1-2. We were playing 1-2-4 a little bit last week. I ended the summer on a 400K downswing, so I posted my results. I didn't put up totals.
Boo.
I had a good summer, not a great summer. I had a great summer leading into this fast.
Yeah, you should
10
have fucking
days.
taken a week off or some shit. Take a day off, mate.
Take a day off, mate. Got to play like 3 or 4 sessions of 200-400. That did not go well.
Hate that for me.
I lost like 300K over those 3 or 4 sessions.
Hate that for you.
God, listen to Landon just think about his piece every time you
I know.
say something.
It's so annoying, man. I
I
had
had my
such a
two
great
biggest-
summer.
Every number you say, he's like, fuck, I lost 3,500.
I had my 2 biggest losses of the year, including the airball match. Both in the last 10 days.
Man, I fucking, yeah. Summer was really good where you paid for my car and then you still owed me money and now I owe you money.
You
and
owe
I
me
don't
a
like
lot
it.
of money.
I don't like it.
I mean, you borrowed a lot of money, so like you're giving that back at full value, not 5%. So that's a big chunk of it.
Yeah, sure.
You know, when you're
Could have just like not lost 400K.
yeah, that part's true too. But we need to talk about this. I can't be your bank moving forward.
Wow, this is...
We've been
don't-
over this for.
Landon,
Corey-
you got to shut this out now.
Corey-
don't let him do this.
Corey just shoots me a text today whenever I ask
I
him.
don't remember what happened with that.
I asked him
honestly.
about rent, and he just goes, your son peeled $3K in cash off of me he said you would pay him back.
I don't remember the
So
entire
just take
details of this
it off the
conversation.
rent. And I'm like, how am I just the debt man all of a sudden? Like, what's going on here? But the kid never has a single cent in cash. He has like digital and like theoretical bucks.
Yeah, I
like,
got a lot of IOUs.
yeah, he'll just be like, you can just have a piece of me and all this stuff moving. I don't want a piece, man. I want my cash back.
I want my money now. No, you'll get your money. Don't
Every
worry about
day during the summer. Do you have 10K on you? Do you
It wasn't every day. It was
do you
during.
have 10K cash?
It was during the times I didn't want to play poker, and then you made me play.
Do you have 10K cash? Do you
It
have
was
10K
during the
cash?
win 10K. And I
He
said,
has 7 backers. They're all in town, and every day.
Relax.
Do you have 10K cash?
their money is separate.
Landon to closer.
Yeah, based. You got 40-50K. I can give you back in 7
He
installments.
doesn't. The thing is, like, he's so much sharper than the closer. He doesn't even offer me anything in return. He like holds me hostage. He's just like, "Hey, I'm illiquid. Make me whole." What's going on here?
It's been a good summer.
It has been a very good summer. I had a good time. I'm exhausted.
You know, life is good when you have money to loan.
that part's true. I'm in a very good position to.
I mean, we had a conversation in
lend.
January about where is my money, and now it's like, oh look at that.
Well, it was in a lot of things that were hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I feel like you said this multiple times. It's like in the last 6 months. Like,
It's gonna happen again. I'm gonna fire in assets again, like in the next 3 months, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then December's gonna roll around, and it's gonna be a chilly winter, and I'm gonna go, fuck.
No,
I have
no, no,
all
no.
these assets.
No, we're gonna win something. We're gonna win something. Just believe in the tournament structure where most of the time you play, you lose, and then when you win, you mostly get like a little bit of money back. And if you like do good but not great, you'll get some money. and you hope it makes up for your losses.
This was your inspiring tweet of the day today.
I thought it was a great tweet, honestly.
I'm sure you did.
It did numbers.
Yeah,
I know
of
it's a
course
good
it did
tweet. I know
numbers.
it's a good tweet when it did numbers. Best
course it
time
did
of the year, WSOP Summer. Good luck, grinders. 1K turbo to save your summer. That's why Conrad's still here.
That is why Conrad's here. Shout out to the 1K bricks. How did your summer go, Connie?
Yeah.
It's another. We got an L in the books.
How many events did you play?
65 bullets.
65 bullets.
Honestly,
That's a light summer for you.
It's probably like 60 because there was a couple online things.
That's a light summer for you. That's
Yeah,
light work, man.
dude, look at this.
49 days, 65 entries. That's nothing.
It started.
I
That
lost-
tweet did numbers.
I think I lost like 44 playing 2 10Ks, a couple 5Ks.
Okay.
Didn't go well.
Okay. I mean, average buy-in of if you take the 10Ks out, you lose 24. That's not too bad for an average buy-in of like what 1,800 probably.
Oh yeah,
Probably something
I
around
can
there.
get you money
Yeah.
back from swaps. I owe you money.
Swaps FC.
Swaps are great, man.
Landon's just gonna open a fucking LLC.
Shout out.
Swaps FC. Nah,
Swap,
it's FC.
it's Swap FC LLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steven Song I swapped 5 with him in the BetMGM. He got 4th for like 190. Johan did well in the mystery bounty. Had 10. Ben final tabled the win. 1600 for like 100, and then Nick did well in the 3.5K at the win. It's been a good summer for my friends.
I thought I had a really good MTT summer.
You almost did.
Well, I cashed like half the events I played. I went deep in 3. I bubbled 2 final tables, and my ROI was like 15%.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
I played like 100K worth of buy-ins. I think I cashed for like 135, counting online.
This is what I'm telling you about tournaments.
I don't know how people do this I mean, unless you're Bin Win. What are
Bin
we doing
Wang.
out here? Bin Wang.
He's out here
Wang.
getting W's.
Dude,
That's what I'm saying.
It's so funny hearing like anecdotes of Ben Wang just like playing the 5K. He got in 10s versus
It
aces.
was Efro.
Somebody folded a
Yeah.
10.
He did it to Efro.
It was fucking.
This son of a bitch.
He got Efro.
He fucking got Efro. Efro tweeted, I got in aces versus Bin Wang's 10s, so I'm re-entering the 5K.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Darren folded a 10 too. Darren folded
course he
queen 10
did.
off.
Of course he
There's
did.
another hand where like Ben Wang got in 4s versus aces and spiked a 4 and looks at the guy and just goes, "Sorry man, I run way too good."
All right, so there was this tweet put out yesterday. It says, "Is there a point where we just have to accept that Bin Wang must be cheating? How many tourneys does he need to win before it starts becoming the most likely outcome?"
Listen,
some of these hand receivers just make no sense. To be clear, I don't think he's cheating. Just wondering what the line is.
listen.
It's like at what point do you go from 0 to 1?
We don't get to throw around these allegations. There's been way too much fucking shit happening in the community over the last year and a half.
It's a
Yeah.
funny joke.
Yeah, it would
funny
be
joke.
It would be a funny joke, but what
We
is
all
this?
play with him.
What is this guy doing?
We're
We
playing
all
with-
play with him,
All right.
man.
We're playing with fire.
We are playing with fire.
We see what he does. He's a goddamn gangster, and he's running.
Yeah, I
good.
gotta get some Ben Wang swaps.
Wow,
That is-
that's the fucking. That's the
the
one.
play.
I don't
That's-
know if that means he'd win more or if you would just bring his sun run to an end.
I think he would win more.
Maybe.
I'm good
Possible.
at I'm at an age where
I
Here we
can't
go.
wait to hear this.
Yeah, go on.
you're not
finish
allowed
that.
to win until you're like 25. So I'm almost there. So you have to get in your good favors now.
Right. I see.
You see?
Yeah, it makes sense.
You can't have it all early.
Right.
You know, you get one.
Okay.
It's fair.
Hey, God bless.
Man, tournament. Honestly, though, the more you play tournaments, the more you realize how great cash games are.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, there's a lot of pain. I mean, there's a lot of pain involved in cash too. I was thinking about it today.
Kinda. If you see like infinite game in cash versus infinite game in tournaments are two different things.
Oh, yeah, it's not even close, but like it's really, I mean, it's tough to zoom out in cash because unless you're like, a 5'10", 10-20 grinder who's going to put in 300 sessions a year, you don't really get to reach the long term over the course of like a year span.
You don't unless you're playing online.
Right. So like a good example of this is over the last 10 days during this pretty big downswing that I'm going on, I've had aces or kings get cracked something like a dozen times. And those are really hard hands to lose with.
They're very hard hands to lose with, especially when a lot of money goes in.
Right. Like
Pre-
three 4-bet pots.
Like-
These are difficult hands to not win with.
SPRs are like 1.5, where like you just get money in versus either pair plus or a draw, and like you're gonna be fine most of the time.
Right.
You're gonna win more than you lose.
Right. So like, a great example is I lost with, I had aces twice today, lost with them both times. I had kings twice, lost with them both times.
Stop getting good fucking hands, man. What the hell are we doing?
But the first one I lost to aces was a 65K pot, in the stand-up game where it went like open under the gun, call in 4 spots. I make it.
How do you get aces there, by the way?
I know.
Step 1.
Yeah. So it goes like 800, call. I make it 4K.
Are you standing or no?
No, I just sat.
Oh.
Which is unfortunate. I might have just gotten it all if I was still standing.
That's so
I make it 4K. Under the gun calls and the VIP from out of town calls. So we go 3 ways. And it comes like 7, 3, 4, 2 clubs. I have the ace of clubs.
Okay.
Check. Under the gun bets like half pot. VIP jams 22K.
This has gone as perfectly as it could have gone.
Right. And I'm like 45K effective with under the gun. So I have to reshove.
Yeah.
I rejam. He folds queens. Unlucky. Rejammer, 9-3 of clubs.
What is this, pair plus?
No. So it's like, sorry. 7-3-4 rainbow.
7-3-4 rainbow?
Yes.
It's not flush draw.
Not flush draw.
So he just has a naked pair backdoor.
Correct.
All right.
Club,
Motherfucker.
brick 9.
Come on.
Jesus.
Okay,
Scoop.
What are the likelihoods that he's cheating?
Scoop. Right. So like 65K pot, just ship that way. You know what I mean?
Oh my god. I was gonna say club, you win on 4 flush.
Yeah, of course.
Not this one.
Not this time. There was another pot where Royski opens.
How does he fold queens? You just have jacks.
I know.
I know. You have tens.
It's like it's Vlas too, who like we battle really fucking hard. Like we go hard.
Vlas is folding queens?
Yeah, folded queens.
Mamma mia.
So now there's another hand where Royski opens buried to the gills. He's down like 50.
Is he standing?
No, this isn't stand up. He just opens. I 3-bet kings. Oaken fucking around as usual. Cold 4 bets. Smoking Oaken. Cold 4 bets to like 4,500. Vlast 11-5. This is under the gun 1, under the gun 2, under the gun 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's literally like we're playing 8-handed. So it's under the gun 8, under the gun 7, low jack, hijack.
Yeah.
Cold 5s.
Yeah.
Folds back to me.
How deep are you in Vlas?
We're like he's only 40K effective, but Oaken and I are like 150K effective.
Okay, you just go like 25.
No, I just trap. I mean, I should have went 25.
I would just go 25.
But Oaken's just like folding range unless
Like,
it's aces. Like, I mean, maybe I don't even think he pills queens.
That's probably fine though with the dead money.
Probably, but like
3 ways is scary. We're also out of position versus both.
Yeah.
Sandwich.
Anyway, I call. He calls. Board ace deuce 3, 2 diamonds.
You got what you deserve.
I don't have the king of diamonds. check 4,500 fold. Emma and Kier both go. We folded an ace.
Does Vlas flip his hand over?
Vlas
or no?
has like 6-7 of diamonds.
Does he?
I don't know. He goes, this is a really good flop for me. So I go, were you stacking off pre? He goes, no, I was folding.
5-6 of diamonds.
You fucking. This is where my money goes.
Listen to this hand history. We're just getting it all, man. Like if he has anything on a non-ace side board, we just get it all.
You guys are having a fucking blast in there, aren't
There was another hand where he squeezed the big blind. Vlas squeezed the big blind.
It's the last day of the year. Good luck, cash game grinders.
Roy called the hijack. I called the button, and it comes like 10-3 deuce, and I have threes. 10-3 deuce, 2 diamonds.
We lose this hand?
Sorry, 10-4-3, 2 diamonds. Vlas leads for 75% pot. Roy jams for like pot and a half. I rejam thinking Vlas will call off over pairs. Vlas snap folds. Roy has a 10. I hold and win twice. And I go to Vlas. I go, you didn't fold an overpair, did you? He goes, no, I had 7 deuce.
Wow, Vlas might have had 7 deuce there.
Wait, are you guys playing a 7 deuce game?
Yeah, of course. But like we're playing it based off of 100-100. So like the bonus isn't high enough. It's only $300 a person. So like really going for it in 3 and 4 bet pots at 100-200 is like insane.
I mean, you did that on the night with the bike.
Way different. We were playing for
bigger,
1K.
Right?
We were playing 1K a
it was
person.
Bigger, right?
Yeah, it was 200. Or we were playing 100-200. It was $500 a person. 1K to the last one and folded.
Oh shit!
It's a massive fucking bounty.
Yeah, it's better.
All right, we are going to get to the main topic right now. We have Mike Gordinsky.
Gorodinsky.
I can't pronounce it. Gordo. We have Gordo. Say that again?
That was good, Gordinsky.
Okay,
You nailed it on
see?
the first try.
I nailed it, and Landon has me shook over here, you know? I'm so
Someone's got to keep you in
self-conscious.
check.
I'm so self-conscious of pronouncing anything at this point.
You and names are tough.
They are tough. All right. you had a very interesting thing happen to you prior to the World Series. By the way, congratulations on a great series.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I know you didn't win Player of the Year or anything like that, but I saw your name getting thrown around a lot. I think you won a bracelet. Is that true?
I won a bracelet at the 10K horse.
Yeah, no big deal. You know, whatever. Just
Light work.
10K horse.
Light work.
Light work. Light work. Let's go, baby. Well, that's good because you need to recoup some funds from the way that I understand it.
That's right.
Why don't you tell us your side of the story as far as the misplaced funds in the Bellagio box go?
All right, yeah. So I'll do like a brief summary. I used to go to my box regularly when I lived in San Diego, played the Bobby's Room game a little more regularly. And then in the last few years, I haven't played the Bobby's Room mix very much. So I access my box maybe once or twice a year when I go out to Vegas. So the last time that I accessed it was late July or late June or something after the last series. I came back, I think June 1st. I don't really remember the exact date anymore, to get in the box to fund my TBIC for the series. I show up, same protocol, give my key, and it just gets stuck, which has never happened before. So I'm just kind of waiting while various cage employees try to like wriggle the key in. I don't know. Nothing works, so they call a locksmith. Locksmith drills. Box comes out empty. I freak out, and then and so then this situation kind of unfolds. I do a security report with Bellagio, don't hear anything back for a few days, try to reach out, don't hear anything back, get lucky enough to be referred an acquaintance who's able to escalate the case to like some various president of MGM who gets eyes on it. And then like a security investigation opens up, they call me, they're like, oh, sorry, we never called you back. Do the investigation. It just comes back that I'm the only person that accessed the box. I'm not allowed to view the tapes, anything. And yeah, just from there, I try to talk to the person in charge of the security review, and I'm like, oh, so is it the official position of Bellagio that like the key getting stuck is a coincidence, that, there's some, secondhand reports of people being handed the wrong box in the past. I was like, does Bellagio have an official statement on this? And I just get kind of legal talk in response. So I just asked for someone to call me with an official statement. Fast forward about a week and a half, I get a call from someone at risk management at Bellagio, and they're like, essentially, we did a background check on you. Like you check out as like an upstanding gambler, like with a long, history of Bellagio, but the reality is, you signed this liability waiver. We did conduct a security review, and yeah, there's just nothing we can do if we compensate you in this scenario. It sets up a bad precedent where, anytime someone's box comes out empty, they can, negotiate for compensation.
Right.
Which, like, whatever is understandable, I guess, but obviously not what I want to hear being in a position as essentially a victim.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we kind of left that conversation as it was. I had to sit down with that person at risk management and someone else that's more, generally involved with poker, and just kind of like, got the official word that like, no, there's not going to be any compensation, and that's that. And frankly, I've kind of put it behind me at this point. I mostly wanted to come on your podcast, basically just to clear the air. I mean, frankly, I got kind of tired of being asked about this 10 times a day by strangers, not to mention like every one of my friends and acquaintances. So I just wanted to hash it out in a public setting so everyone just knows the case and they can kind of make their own conclusions. And also as a little bit of a cautionary tale for people that do have boxes, because I didn't really realize how little recourse we had, and I had never considered that something like this could happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just to kind of broadly talk about what I think might have transpired, and to just sort of push people towards just doing from money deposits and not keeping a box, because it was just kind of an ordeal, and it's an unnecessary risk, in my opinion, which I wasn't really privy to before this all happened.
Right. I have a couple questions. So
yeah,
do you have any idea how long it was between the times that you accessed your box?
So yeah, it was 11 months.
Okay. And did they give you any sort of like closure as far as like what their process or protocols were in going back? Like, were they able to review footage back to when you had last accessed it?
So I asked, and the most specific answer that I was given by the person in charge of the security review or whatever was that he actually did not specify if they went back all the way, but he said of the footage they reviewed, I was the only person seen accessing the box, right?
Right.
And not having seen any of the footage myself, I can't confirm or deny if that's true, whatever. I just take them at their word and move on with my life.
Yeah. Is there any level of probability that you had emptied the box yourself the last time you accessed it?
So I did like a little emailed correspondence with Chad Holloway for Poker News, which you posted earlier today, where that question was asked, and it's valid. So for that to have occurred, the following parlay would have needed to, I'm, especially for a poker player, I'm pretty meticulous in my records. And
Makes one of us.
I'm not someone that gets like blackout drunk. I don't have these sorts of biases that some other poker players do. So it's like, I don't really like forget random occurrences in my life, especially when money's concerned. So I would have had to forget that I emptied out my box. And my box, like in my box, I don't keep like, for the most part, a lot of MGM chips. I keep like random cash that I can't offload the night that I get it, or like foreign chips. So it's like I would have had a memory of then figuring out what to do with like these win chips, which like I never played the win. It would have been a pain in the ass for me to cash.
Right.
So it's like I would have had to have this memory of cashing out my box, then like, doing the transaction to swap those chips, and then just completely forgetting about it. And then my heat also randomly getting jammed the next time that I show up at Bellagio after a lengthy absence. So like, sure, it's not impossible that happened. I would rate it as like a 0.0025% chance. Something like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm pretty confident.
To me, the key getting jammed is the questionable part, I guess. Because I feel like if, like, I've also heard the same stories that you have. I think a lot of them started to circulate whenever you first posted about this happening.
Yeah, which had you heard of that before? Because I had never heard of those either.
No, it seems like people just started coming public with it whenever you kind of posted your report. Right. And that doesn't make me suspicious, but
public with what?
That they had received incorrect boxes in showing up. It doesn't make me suspicious, but it does make me question how much of it is like kind of like overblown bias, if you will, where maybe this has happened once or twice, or people had heard about it second or third handedly.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah. But it's potentially plausible. I think that I don't know the system well enough, but I imagine that there's like a 1 in some amount chance that multiple keys work or something to that effect.
Yeah, I'm actually with you. It's not like I think this is happening on a regular basis. It's just, that kind of like seed of possibility was planted by,
right.
I think I talked to 3 people at the series. I don't want to name any names in case, they don't want to be dragged into some public escapade, but like, that it would be very strange for them to just like randomly invent this scenario happening to them and approaching me with it. Like, maybe they did because they just wanted a topic of conversation, who knows? But, I would find that far-fetched. And they said that they had, when accessing that box, been given someone else's box open, which is, obviously problematic and bizarre. And even if it just happened once to someone 10 years ago, it's still problematic and bizarre.
Yeah. I've had the scenario presented where people gave me the wrong sheet to sign, but I've never gotten so far as like getting the wrong box.
Correct. Me neither,
I don't even know how plausible it is, but the key getting stuck and then ultimately having to be drilled, I think, is like where I can't help but get hung up a bit. Because I don't understand a single scenario where the box wasn't previously drilled that would be the case. And from my outsider's perspective, and you can give me your thoughts on this, it seems as though this is a scenario where your box was closed. They retooled the locks, cleared out the contents of it, and did whatever with it. I assume they have a protocol for this.
I agree. I think that's by far the likeliest scenario here.
Yeah.
And I have no interest in throwing anyone in MGM under the bus. I don't. I've like I said, I've kind of put this behind me, but I think whether purposefully or accidentally, I think that the contents of my box were taken out due to an activity, and then either just lost along the way or actively stolen by somebody. And I think that's by far the likeliest that could happen here.
Did anybody tell you what their protocols are if they were to have closed your box like that?
Yeah, so the poker manager did tell me that, like, well, he looked at the list of boxes that were drilled, in the abs like since my last absence, and that my box was not drilled. But like,
Okay.
you know, who knows? Maybe it just wasn't on the list.
Yeah, or perhaps it was listed incorrectly. Something.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of human error available.
Right.
Here.
I'm not going to speculate about the actual human error part of it, but like, yeah.
Right.
So the process is, if they're going to drill your box, they send you a certified letter to your address.
Okay.
And I believe they mail you or, you know, send you a text. Like there's multiple forms of communication if your box gets drilled, and then you have X number of days to like come and collect your contents.
And if you don't,
I did not get that far just because I was given the answer that my box wasn't drilled, but I assume that they hold them. You know, like I can't imagine it's just like a police auction after.
Yeah, that's the curious part to me, especially because you're saying that like it was most likely to be cash in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Would it go to like Nevada Claims or something?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I've had boxes closed before in the past. Like Venetian closed my box a decade ago or so. I think they got rid of like all the boxes in the poker room. And I remember I didn't get, they probably sent me like 4 or 5 letters in the mail, and I'd never gotten them. And it just so happened that Tommy, the TD, had reached out to me and said like, we're closing this. Like, you need to come get the contents. And I basically worked it out with him to like take I was out of town. I was like in Pittsburgh or something. Okay. I worked out with him to like drill it, take the contents, hold it for me, and I picked them up. So I just like wonder, you know, is there an outside chance that someone does their due diligence and just finds that you have, I don't know, like how much do you think was in there? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, so I think so this is kind of like a blessing of the story, is that my box literally had the least amount of money I've ever had in it at this point.
That's very
It's kind
nice.
of funny. Like I showed up the day on June 1st and I was just like annoyed. I was like, man, I'm gonna have to like actually like, you know, either go to the bank or borrow from people to like fully fund my TBIC, because like this just isn't gonna be enough. And you know, and then I was just like, oh shit, well, an empty box is actually worse than that. Like, go figure. Yeah, so that was a funny part. But the absolute floor that was in there is 45,000, and then the ceiling is 100. And that's kind of based off like what my last session was and how many MGM chips I put in there.
Okay.
Which I know like kind of sounds ridiculous to not be 100% certain, but it's just sort of the nature.
No,
of
I don't.
box, you know?
I mean, when you go 11 months without accessing it, like.
Right. It's like I keep pretty good records, but like, you know, I could have front money deposited. I could have, you know, gone to Ari and played a session. It's just like, it's a little bit unclear, but I know as a base it was 45K. So.
Yeah, I think this does bring up a really important conversation for gamblers alike. You know, it's critical for us to have these boxes, obviously. You know, I'm sure it's a little bit different for you because you play mixed, so you're not really playing a ton of different places, but like I have boxes all around town.
Well, for sure. And I talked about this in the column the Chad wrote. It's just like, if you only played a couple of casinos, I can't imagine, for myself at least, ever having a box again. I'll just keep money on front deposit. But that's a lot tougher if, you know, you're playing at like 7 different casinos throughout the year.
Right.
You can't just keep a ton of money on front deposit at all these casinos.
It's nice if you're playing like consistently MGM because it'll transfer throughout. But like, if you're playing resorts and Win and, you know, all these other places, it becomes a game.
The boxes are just kind of a necessity if you don't want to be, you know, traveling with a ton of money on you, which I don't think anyone wants to do that because it compromises your safety. So it's just sort of a, you know.
So I guess the last question along these lines, as far as the process goes, is what did you kind of learn as far as what rights, if any, we hold based off of the liability waiver that we sign when we sign up for these boxes?
I mean, so it seems like 0. Now, that having been said, I did talk to a few lawyers at the very beginning of this, and they were more hopeful than I was about being compensated, but a lot of their process involved like putting pressure on a casino and like, you know, kind of like public pressure, and just sort of leveraging that into into just like an outside of court decision.
Right.
So as far as like actually if someone went to court about something like this, I have a feeling that we have extremely limited rights because of the nature of safe deposit boxes, right? We are the only people that have knowledge of the contents. And so it basically went to being our word against the casinos. And it just feels like an extremely flimsy argument in court.
Do you use the box room or do you do it out in the open?
I use the box room.
Yeah, there's no camera in there either.
Yeah, exactly. Which is worse, which like if I had known that, I would have never used it. because
Wait,
Right.
whatever.
there's
It's
no
like,
camera in the
it's not
box
like I'm
room?
ever leaving with the
No.
box.
No, I mean, like, it's meant for privacy.
Right.
Wow.
So it's the double-edged sword. It's like I think a lot of people are utilizing these boxes to kind of like stuff money or valuables or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Which just like for me wasn't the purpose. I just don't like to travel
Sure.
with money, and I wanted it to be convenient for me when it came to play because I don't live in Vegas. So I just wanted a place where like I could come and easily access chips.
Yeah. I think it's really important to highlight the front money accounts and to make people a little bit more aware that they exist. So essentially, for anybody who's unaware, front money is just you open an account with the casino, specifically with the poker room, and you can put your chips on deposit. So they basically just hold a credit line for you that you front with the cash. So it's 1-to-1. There's no really credit extended. They're just like holding your money for you. I think that we're probably pretty risk free there. I guess you run the risk of like the entity going under, but when you're dealing with like MGM and Caesars,
if that happens, like sorry, buddy, tough luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like my main purpose in coming on is because like I really do want to stress that like for myself, especially because I only really play like 2 or 3 casinos. Like I will never have a box again.
right?
I will just have front money deposit for the rest of my life, and assuming like the nature of mixed games doesn't change.
Yeah, I mean, you were playing pretty big at one point. I imagine that at some point in your career, there was probably 7 figures worth of risk in that box.
Definitely like up to 75-80% of my net worth. I mean, just completely unreasonable amounts of money in that
Same.
box, and it's so stupid.
Yeah, same. I mean, depending on how liquid you are at any given time,
Right.
you could have 10% of your net worth or 90% of your net worth
exactly.
in these boxes.
And I mean, obviously it sucks to just feel like a victim where like 50K vanishes, but I really do feel sort of lucky and
Right.
grateful that it happened at this time in my life when like realistically the sum isn't going to change my life.
Yeah.
And, and I can just kind of like put it behind me and forget about the stress and move on. So yeah.
Is the number kind of a byproduct of not pursuing this further? Because obviously I think
Yes,
there might
absolutely.
be some public recourse that you could take, but you run the risk of just being trespassed from MGM.
Yes, and that's my biggest concern. I mean, like literally, I just want to do a disclaimer that I'm not trying to have people like boycott MGM. I'm not trying to, throw anyone under the bus here. That's not my intent of this at all. I kind of just want to like tell my side of the story and like encourage people to open for money deposits because like the possibility of being 86 from MGM is like such a massive financial liability for me compared
Right.
to this box, which like, it sucks, but like I can put it behind me and move on and live my life happily and just like not really think about it again.
Yeah, it's nice when you're in that stage of, I guess, your career when if you were younger and had all of the money in the box and you lose so much more, it's almost like you might just not be in poker anymore.
Yeah, of course. I mean, at that point, I probably would have more deeply considered some sort of legal action because then, there's much more bearing on my day-to-day life.
I wonder. It's weird because obviously we're speaking a lot to the younger guys out there who have a lot of money on hand, but it applies to us too. I personally like felt very responsible having boxes for many years because it's like I'm not keeping cash in my home, and that's like such a big risk.
Definitely. I mean, you're mitigating risk by having a box.
Right.
That was always my point of view as well.
Yeah, but I think now it comes to a head where I didn't realize we were just like signing away our rights.
I didn't either. I mean, in the back of my head, I think if someone had asked me like, hey, do you think that you signed a liability waiver when you opened the box? But I'm like, yeah, for sure. But like, it's just not a scenario that you foresee happening, right? It's called a safe deposit box. Like you assume it's safe.
Yeah. Like if anybody's gonna, if somehow, some way you're gonna get got in this scenario, it's gonna be because the government has a right to seize it or something along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. Which, like, by the way, there's like that has happened to people before. So that's the thing. If you're out there breaking laws, don't keep a safe deposit box.
Very
Although
reasonable.
I guess you probably need one anyway.
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm really sorry this happened to you. Obviously, I'm happy that it wasn't an amount of money that's going to ultimately impact your life so much, but
still annoying.
It's super annoying, but it's also scary for the rest of us too, right? Like Gordo gets to be a bit of a cautionary tale, but it doesn't really provide us a ton of clarity moving forward because boxes still are much more convenient. Like, I don't know how much you've dealt with front money, but it's fucking annoying. It's a lot of paperwork. It's slow.
They definitely serve a purpose. And by the way, when I had this last in-person meeting in Vegas right before flying home, the person, like the risk and management person, even asked, like, why do we have boxes in poker rooms? Like, it just seems kind of like a liability nightmare.
Right. Well, that's kind of my question, right? Like, if they're going to provide this service, it seems like there should be some greater scrutiny as far as like how much on the hook they are. You know?
I mean, I agree, but at the same time, it's like, from the business standpoint, like if they can completely erase liability and you're still going to use the service, why not?
Of course. I wonder how banks do it. Because I can't imagine that they're totally off the hook. I wonder if you like just maybe like create a list of claims of what's in there at all times.
Yeah, I think that would be the way to do it. I think you're covered if you just have a running tab of your items or whatever you're keeping in there and the relative value.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. Obviously, it shines another light on the risk and liability that we take on being in a cash-intensive business. It's shitty that it's brought to light because you kind of fell victim to potentially some wrongdoing. Again, I'm just so stuck on the key thing that
that's where I am too. It's kind of the crux of the story.
I guess one last question: is there any shot in the dark that it was the wrong key? Because like I have an Aria and Bellagio key, and they're very, very, very similar.
No, I have only one safe deposit box, and it was that one, and the key sat in my backpack forever. So it was for sure the right key. Whether or not it was the right box is up for debate.
That would have been a wild fucking story. If you had like given the wrong key, they drilled the wrong box, the box happened to be empty. Your real box is just sitting there with 7K or 70K somewhere, in the middle of the poker room.
Could be, who knows? I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if I got a phone call and they were like, "Hey, we found the contents of your box. It was in a bag in some back room."
Right.
And it is what it is. But that's probably a little too optimistic.
Yeah, but I think like again, I think it's greater than zero that somewhere down the line they were like, no, we closed this box and the contents are just like, on file somewhere. Although I would imagine that if you have front money, they would have just put it into it. But maybe not.
I think so. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't have, but that did not happen. So I don't know. It's a mystery.
Pretty brutal. So as far as moving forward for you, any further steps to be taken, or is this just kind of like water under the bridge?
This is water under the bridge for me. Like I said, I don't want to damage my relationship with MGM. And so because of that kind of like weird leverage, I'm just going to drop it and, move on with my life.
Well, to any MGM bigwigs out there that are listening, hopefully on the sly, very quietly, you guys can work something out behind closed doors where you get some comp money or anything, honestly. Like, it's one of those things where unfortunately as poker players, we don't offer them a ton of value. And if you were a whale in the pits.
Well, you know what? I actually will say in fairness to MGM that they did offer me some like comp money, like, rooms when I go out, and
that's nice.
just to kind of mend the relationship. I will say for whatever reason during the meeting, I was like, no, I'm not looking for handouts. I declined, but I might, change my tune on that.
You should probably change your tune on that.
And I'm a little bit less sour.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get it because like once you agree to that, then it really is water under the bridge, and they're probably going to stop trying to do anything to help you. But if the outcome is looking grim, it does seem like a situation.
If you something for free, you might as well take it. Right?
Yeah. It'd be nice to get a little bit of value. Well, as always, Gordo, it's great to have you on. Appreciate you coming on to tell your story. Again, congrats on the bracelet. Another big summer.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
Don't put it in the
appreciate
box.
You just giving me a just kind of like an audience to get to share the story with and put it behind me. So thank you.
Anytime. Happy to have you on and hope to have you on under better pretenses at some point in the future.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, nice chatting.
Thanks, man.
See ya.
So I should put my money on front money.
So, all right.
I'm probably not going to, though.
Let me ask you a question.
It's so annoying.
Front money is basically you wire money to the casino? That's
the way it begins. That's how you can open your account, but you can also open your account if you just have chips.
And the journey begins.
And you want to load it that way.
So basically, you load it into the casino, and they just give you chips whenever you play.
Correct. Yeah.
And the reason why most people don't do this is because it's a lot of paperwork every time you
It's
do it.
just so fucking tedious.
It's like, what, 10, 15 minutes? Just to, like,
I was
get
doing it
chips.
during the airball match at resorts,
Yeah.
and it got to a point where like I asked them for a box because I literally lost my key 1 week after fucking doing it too.
Of course you did.
It's so brutal.
Like the Lord of the Rings.
But like it was so time intensive. I would text 15 minutes ahead and say, pull my front money account, just pull all of it, you know. And I would get there relatively on time, like 5 to 4 o'clock on the dot, whatever. And we still wouldn't start play till like 4:15. It's just there's only so much they can do, you know what I mean? When I was at Aria playing the Ivy Room game, front money was a little bit easier because they just had a lot of freedom in that room to kind of I guess like jump over all the red tape. Like they didn't need me to sign to pull the chips. They could just do it and then I could sign later, kind of thing.
Matt Berkey?
that was the win.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, like if they follow protocols very diligently, like it's just a slow process. You know, there's paperwork that has to be churned out. And not only is it like annoying to get the money, but that's the less annoying part. It's actually at the end of the session, putting it back on your oh, it's so slow. Because everything needs to be counted down and then double checked and then triple checked. And then, you know, it has to go in and then they have to file the paperwork with the numbers and you sign 3 different sheets. And
if you could just have like a PA do it for you, it'd be like fine, but they can't.
Yeah, look, the floors are incredibly helpful. They'll do it for you. They'll do all the work and you'll just have to sign the paper.
And wait there.
But it's still a 15-minute wait or a 20-minute wait, something like that. You know, it's just...
I mean, if you're playing every day
unfortunately
for
very tedious.
3 days, and you have to wait. If you do it 20 minutes both ways, it's 40 minutes a day. So it's 2 hours of your life.
The thing is that if you're in Gordo's spot where you're gone for a long period of time, you have to front money.
Oh, sure.
When it's not
when it's... Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, because like now the money is for sure secure. You can't check up on it otherwise.
You're not going to be there every day.
Right, you're not going to be there. But like I'm accessing my box every day for 50 days. The likelihood of something happening in the 12-hour turnaround time is very low.
You can also just have front money, and also have a little bit in the box.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you know, be smart about it.
Yeah, your chips to play with. Yeah, that part's true too.
Just keep yourself in.
Like last case front money.
You know,
there's case money and there's front money.
Everybody in the game knows that you're up shit creek whenever you ask the floor to bring you more off your account.
Yeah. Or like you just need someone to give you chips.
Chris, I'll take 100.
I have a question about this room. You said there's no video cameras, right?
Correct.
Where Gordo had his box?
Yeah.
So when he was talking to security as far as them reviewing tape or whatever,
there's video cameras in the cage. So they would just go back to the time that was signed on. There's a log that you sign, right? The worker fills it out with a time. So say like Thursday, July 18th, or sorry, Tuesday, July 18th. 6:45 p.m. I initial it and sign. They initial it and sign. Right.
Meaning they went into that room and they accessed their box. Is it the employee or are you physically going in there and grabbing?
Okay,
your box?
so the cage is what it is. It's both public and private. Right. So you know what the poker room cage looks like.
Yes.
Okay. The boxes are just lining the back wall, but they have a separate private room that you can walk into and do all your business in there. So where they're pulling the box from is public and under surveillance. But where you are actually accessing your box is private and no cameras. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So they pull the box in public on video for the whole world to see. And when they slide it to you, now it's in private. So the contents of it are never really revealed. And that's obviously going to be the issue for Gordo to get compensated is MGM basically has to take him at his word. Be comfortable with the number, say this guy's not trying to get us, and then, you know, quietly do some sort of like handshake deal with an NDA so that this goes away. That's even if they wanted to, right? Which, you know, as it stands, it wasn't a large enough amount of money that he's going to pursue it. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah.
So kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, it just sucks.
It does for sure. Yeah, it just does, especially because like.
It's just a crazy coincidence that your key doesn't work.
The key getting stuck is so weird.
And then all of a sudden your money is gone. Like 2 and 2 has to.
I've had many boxes for 15 years. I've never had a key not work. Inside the box, like inside your box, is there like forms that like you open, like your name inside your box?
I mean, you can keep it there, yeah. When you fill out the liability waiver or whatever.
I'm just curious if like that wasn't Gordo's box.
Right. So yeah. I mean,
box swap.
Yeah, like in his box is just somewhere where they'll just like it's like something that will never like it won't be found for maybe like a year or who knows how long,
or maybe ever. Like, well, the thing is, I don't think they can access 2 boxes at once. So it's not like there was already an open box and they accidentally put his contents in the wrong one or anything like that. That's very improbable. Yeah. I think the most probable outcome is that his box was drilled and closed.
But if somebody else was if people were brought somebody else's box before, how did that happen?
I don't know. And again, like I tend to give that a little bit less credit just because it's one of those things where maybe it did happen one time and then 3 different people told the same story. And you know, maybe some people like said it happened to them when in reality it happened to somebody that they know. Yeah. Or, you know, they heard from somebody that they know who actually heard about it. It just becomes folklore.
Key getting jammed mean key didn't work.
Correct. That's the most problematic thing to me is that, like, okay, key doesn't work and box is empty. These two things are very
wrong box
off.
It just seems like the wrong box. That's what.
Right.
It's pretty insane.
Right, but
didn't someone else post a story where like someone else like got a box and there was like
they did, but like, you know,
was it like meme story, real story?
Well, we don't know. You know, we can't verify any of that stuff. The scary thing to me is that they have so many protocols in place to like do enough due diligence to go back and look. It's weird to me that the key doesn't work, the box is empty, and there's no video evidence of like anything happening in the meantime. Yeah. You know, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird scenario. It's very shitty for Gordo. It's a scenario where, like, you know, it
playing the spy music.
Why?
It's just investigation.
Sure. We'll get Poppy on it.
Yeah.
He seems like he's been out of the limelight for some time.
Gotta get him back in.
Let's get him in.
Yeah. He's doing comms on Hustler for PLO.
Breaking investigation. Yeah.
It's actually kind of entertaining. I turned on for a minute.
Was it?
Yeah.
I mean, the lineup looked very spewy.
Yo, it's actually fucking great because it's 50K cap or.
Oh, that's kind of dumb.
Well, it's.
I mean, it's good for.
It's good for them. 150K cap. Sorry.
Okay. I mean, it's good for them. It's no fun for the viewer. I don't think you just want to see a bunch of cold hands in PLO.
I mean, there's just a bunch of monkeys gambling right now. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
It's weird how quickly money has been diluted in the poker streaming space,
bro. Let's talk about this main event final table. You want to talk about money
is not
diluting quickly?
Diluting, yeah.
100.
That is just hands being diluted quickly.
167 hands from 9 to 1.
That's pretty fucking insane.
To give you context,
reference point.
That's fucking quick.
I believe Greggy and Jesse Sylvia played over 200 hands heads up. I'm not positive. I would have to have that double checked. It was either 3-handed or heads up, but they played hundreds of hands.
Nevertheless.
Hundreds of hands.
Yeah.
Heads up or 3-way. They played 167 hands.
That's pretty sick.
They played like 24 hands heads up.
47 hands. They played 47 hands from 3 to 1.
That's fucking
25 of them were heads up.
My God, how awesome is that for time fucking wise?
Incredible.
Production must have been so fucking happy.
It usually takes 3 full days to go from 10 to 1. Usually it goes 10 to 5, 5 to 2, 2 to 1, or 5 to 3, 3 to 1. No, we're not doing. We could have done it all before a dinner break.
We're speed running.
They didn't play a full level. They did not play a full level on the final day. They came back to a half level and ended with a half level. They played less than 2 full hours of poker.
I didn't even realize that.
With 12 million hanging in the balance.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
We were yeeting, boys.
No, we were out.
Get it?
No, we weren't
popping.
We were just here talking.
We were out. We were out of the main.
We got to talk about my man Weinman. We got to talk about him. People don't remember. I don't even know if you guys remember, even though you were here. He came on the pod.
He did come on the pod. It's the podcast Run Good.
It's the podcast Run Good.
Weinman came on the pod?
Weinman came on the pod?
See, he didn't even know.
I wasn't here.
He came on the pod with Deeb, and he faded the Jeff Platt curse.
That's true.
Did not do any interviews with Platt.
Didn't they get a restraining order?
I think they did, and I think it worked.
Oh, my God.
What?
I figured it out.
Go on.
No. Oh, who's the runner now?
somebody might have bought a couple pieces of action, and now I know why. I had a losing summer.
Oh, Platt bought a piece of it. I get it now. That money's no good around here, boys. That money's no good.
Oh, you know what money is good, though? A couple of hundreds that we're going to be collecting from for the fantasy.
Baby, I got 1,000 coming my way.
Yep, I think
I got 1,000 coming. I'm pretty sure No Gamble, No Future in the 25K fantasy finished next to last.
Yes, they did. And guess what team where Team Jewish was at?
Oh, like fourth to last.
Yes. We got to win.
It wasn't going to be hard. We really only had a 1 in 25 chance of losing.
Wait, what happened here?
We bet $1,000 for. Well, I bet $1,000 for his Platt.
I bet 100.
I don't know what he bet. Team Jewish, which was, I believe, was it Ari Engel's team?
No, it was Dan Zach.
Oh yeah, Dan Zach's team.
Wow, you're so. Is that not racist?
Why would it be racist?
He went for Ari Engel, Team Jewish.
He's Jewish.
He is Jewish. Dan Zach also Jewish.
And I'm pretty sure he was on the team.
Also on Team Jewish.
Yeah.
Probably that's why the team name was Team Jewish.
So I bet
Jewish.
I bet that team versus Team No Gamble No Future, and we booked a dub.
You just heads up points for points.
Yeah.
And they
you know what else?
They finished next to last.
Our viewership's been up a ton since Platt left.
That's true. You're not lying. It's like almost
like doubled.
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
Shit.
Look, I'm gonna be the Platt defendant.
I love Platt.
We all love Platt. It's a joke.
But I will say that he interviewed Adam Jones's rail when they got heads up. And Matt Glantz said over under 8.5 hands before the heads up is over. It was under.
Yeah.
Once the interview aired, it was like 3 hands later.
That's fucking
GG.
Some bits are just really good, you know?
Yeah.
Talking about Ari Engel and bits. He has the best one ever.
How does this always happen to me?
Dude, I fucking love it. I had lunch with him today, and he's just like talking about like these situations that he gets in. He's like, how does this always happen to me?
Yeah, it's very unlucky.
Fucking amazing.
How did this happen to me?
5 bet to him, and he has aces in the big blind.
Or he gets it like ace 10 versus ace jack and kings. And somehow I hear about this hand from somebody else, and then Ari tells me about it today. I was like, wait, that was you? Of course it was.
Of course it was. The man does nothing but win. All right, let's talk about this final 3. Even though it was very fast, it was quite entertaining. And there was no lacking of action.
There was no gamble, and there was future.
Plenty of gamble. I don't know about how much future. So we came
short-lived future.
We came into the final 3 with Weinman and Jones pretty close to even in chips, and
I mean they're all close.
Yeah, I mean they
like
were
120, 100, like 120, 110, 88.
Yeah. I mean it's close, but Walton did have a slight chip disparity.
88 big blinds of pocket eights.
Well,
conspiracy?
No, it was way more than that. He got up to the chip lead almost.
Oh wow! Just kidding,
bro. He went way harder than the pocket eights. Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the first hands of 3-way, we saw Jones open. He chose a larger size on the button, which I found to be interesting. He opened 6.5 at 2 million. So like basically like 3.2.5, I guess. And he was met by a 3-bet by Walton in the small blind, who had red ace king. He peels red ace queen. Sorry, both their hands were black. Black ace king, black ace queen. Board comes like jack 7-5 all red. We see a c-bet by Walton in lightning speed, just instantly c-bets.
Yeah, he moves fast.
Jones chooses to turn his hand into a bluff, and he like 2.5x raises in position. What do you think about turning ace queen into a bluff here?
I mean, you can just call. It's fine.
Yeah. I thought it was an interesting choice of hand candidate.
Yeah.
King Queen seems like a better one. You get some ace highs to fold, perhaps. But it didn't really matter.
No.
Because Walton just immediately met him with an all-in. No thoughts whatsoever, just YOLO. If I'm going to lose the main event, it's going to be with a premium. I'm all in. To which he was delightfully shown a fold. So now he's chip leader, or very, very, very close.
Yeah,
He's out in the streets, man. So yeah, I think like after that hand, he played another pot versus Jones. I can't recall what the hand was, but he lost a small one. Basically, Weinman covered him by like a couple of big blinds. Then we see the Queen 6 of diamonds by Jones open the button. Walton chooses to flat. Oh, that's what it was. He lost. He flatted pre-flop with 6s or 7s versus a Weinman open. He flatted out the big blind, and it came, I don't know, I think like king high, low, low, and he check called 1. Turn was a brick, check, check. River was a queen, check, and Weinman bet like pot with ace queen, and Walton ultimately folded 6s or 7s. One or the other, doesn't really matter, but it gave Weinman the chip lead back. So now, a scenario happens where queen 6 of diamonds opens the button. Adam has 8s in the small blind and like roughly 100, 110 big blinds, something like that.
Walton is less. He is 210 at 2.5 mil. So he's got
210. So he has 105 big blinds. Yes. 2 million.
250 million would be 100 big blinds.
I said 105.
Yeah, he has 210.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 105.
210 million divided by 2.5 million.
Oh, I thought the big blind was 2.
It's 2.5.
The
1
level
million,
had gone up?
2.5.
Okay.
They played 1.5 levels.
Oh, okay. The level. No. They still played less than a level, but this was into level 2. Okay, so he has like
208 divided by 2.5.
90-ish.
He has 83.2 big blinds.
Okay, so 83 big blinds. Jones opening the button has like a little
Jones has
over
like
50, like 60-ish.
60.
Yeah. And then Weinman covers with
Weinman
like
has like 90.
Yeah. So we see this flat, which I think he saves himself if he just 3-bets.
Yeah.
You think this is a pretty high frequency 3-bet spot, right?
I think
3-handed, second in chips.
I would probably call a lot.
Really?
I think it's okay. It's hard to know.
With the chip leader behind you?
Yeah, because like he's not gonna fuck with you that much. Like you're allowed to play protected flats here.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
8s are just like really good 3-handed versus button open, no?
I don't know. Poker's hard, man.
Okay, fine.
My read is it can't be the worst.
I mean, yeah, fine.
My read is the back jam is scary.
Well, maybe for chips the back jam's good.
Yeah.
Or fine. Maybe not good, but it's fine.
Good. It is good. The back jam is good.
But yeah.
It is a lot in cash,
okay,
actually.
so here's the thing. If the back jam's good for chips, how bad could it possibly be when it's so fucking top heavy? So the jump between third and second is only 2.5 million. The jump between third and first, however, is 8 million.
Maybe it's rocket play. Maybe it's okay. Like most of the time, like he has ace king, you flip, you might win.
D-Neg said to me today,
Yeah.
is Landon one of those kids that say you're allowed to?
Yes.
And I said, I think I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah.
And,
No,
and then it just hit me. You're allowed to have some protected flats here.
Judge me. I'm so with the next here. It's like
it's not about allowed, not allowed.
It's a phrasing that makes me want to quit poker forever.
Stop.
The implication is that we're only judging our play based off of what the machine does.
I don't mean it in the sense of does the machine
I mean answer to the sim.
I mean it in a way of is it theoretically acceptable, not is it practically acceptable.
Yeah, but that wasn't really the debate. Obviously I know in theory you're going to be able to call a lot of hands, but it's a matter of like what is the most primary strategy of the hand. I assume 8's mostly 3-bets. I could be wrong. Maybe it's 50-50. Maybe it mostly flats.
Yeah, I just don't have any sort of degree of confidence as to what is and isn't good.
Yeah, both are fine.
That's the point.
That's the thing. There's no good or bad.
Like if you can,
what is the primary motivator of the hand?
The framework is if things are okay, where does it fit? If it's okay in theory, where does this hand fit? Because sometimes, like let's say it's deuce 3 off, that's not okay to flat.
Of course.
So 8s is a hand that seems reasonable in both directions. So it probably mixes.
Well, yeah, but I think like we're all smart enough here to know that
this isn't just a 3-better fold spot for small blind.
Agreed. But I think we're all smart enough to know that. So the when we say like I would 3-bet in this spot more than call, what we're actually discussing is what is the most probable strategy for the hand, especially for somebody like Adam who is probably not mixing much or just mixing based off of an in the moment type of decision.
He's a real live guy.
Yeah, he is
what live poker is.
He is.
It's amazing.
I mean, honestly, I love the fucking speed. Like he'll fit into any cash game that I play any day of the week.
Like there's a difference between allowed to and like error. Like if alternate is like ace deuce off, then calls, then back jams, it's like okay, error.
Right, but we could. I'm of the impression that back jamming the 8s is error.
It might be okay.
Maybe.
It might be.
Maybe.
I'm scared, but like I'm not counting it out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
Because if you're gonna have flats, you are gonna have back. Like, what if he has jacks here?
Yeah, less error.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, at what point do you draw the line? Maybe it's like maybe it is just okay.
Well, you draw the line at the point where better pairs aren't the dominating calling factor.
Well, like you think if Weinman looks at nines, he just calls.
Well, I don't know how often he squeezes nines, but like I think he probably comes close to pure squeezing tens, and yeah, he probably calls.
That's terrifying.
It is, but like, you know, when a guy turbo jams on you after flatting the small blind, how often are we giving him jacks plus?
It's true.
I mean, Walton turbo jammed the ace king.
I mean, every time I get turbo
Post in a bad spot.
Yeah.
every time I get back jam in a situation, I'm always like, this is eights, right?
It's also usually a 65-year-old man.
And they don't have eights.
No, they have eights.
They do sometimes.
They always have
They also
eights.
have kings.
I mean, it's a legit strategy in cash to like call small blind and play big back jams.
Sure.
Button
Yeah.
opens, call small blind, button 3-bet, or big blind 3-bets, button folds. Like you don't want to play a capped range here.
No, of course, but it maybe I'm projecting here, but I just like have a tough time believing that he has like queens and jacks ever in this line.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's calling those hands pretty. Maybe I'm wrong. But people who don't tend to mix, and I'm one of them, so like I'm, you know, projecting like kind of myself, unless I have this like genius, I'm gonna get him type of feel in the moment, probably devoid of queens there, devoid of jacks, devoid of tens.
Yeah. Well, the way I'm seeing it is, if we have calls, we have to also have ways to combat facing squeeze.
Right.
And you're probably not always going to play call with range.
Yeah.
Sure, there's gonna be some hands that you're gonna want to call, like maybe king queen suited is one of them.
Yeah, totally agree. I don't think the instinct to jam here is bad at all.
I don't think it's bad. It's just a matter of what's the threshold of hands that, in like with ICM as a factor,
Correct. Yeah.
is theoretically acceptable. Practically acceptable is different. Sure.
To be fair, too, I think with this particular payout structure, he's very much forgiven by being aggressive.
Yeah, you
got
got to win all of it. Like you just flip versus ace king, and you might win.
Yeah, which I would love to know what Weinman does with ace king in the spot.
Probably just calls it off.
Do you though? It's just no. I mean,
Ace king suited, you probably in.
do you think you see ace queen ever?
Maybe. You can't count it out, right?
I mean, I guess I'm looking at it through the lens of Weinman, where I think he probably has a pretty big skill edge the longer this drags on.
Well, also depends on how it's like the size he chooses when he squeezes pre.
He went 10 big blinds or 11 big blinds.
Yeah, and then like if you just like, I mean, if he ever has the ace queen and piles it, and then you fold. It's disaster.
Right. You do have him covered too, but the thing is, if he folds, he still has like 200 million. Doing pretty good.
Well, then that's a different question with like skill edge versus like acceptable risk versus like theoretical answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think like
in theory, I'm sure you
guess,
call off ace king. In practice, you might think.
Correct. And I guess like what it boils down to is I think ace king and tens are very similar. Difference being that like tens dominates a little bit more of his range, but also flips now against like the ace kings.
Yeah, like if Walton just like piles like an ace jack suited or something, and you have tens, it's not really thrilling.
No,
but having the ace king there and dominating is nice.
Just
I don't know. Like
it feels optimistic to start to reach for hands.
120, 180 big blind spots where it's like ICM 300. But I mean, logically, you need to play the win, and him jamming there is playing to win the tournament.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with you on that.
You see what I'm saying?
On that point, yeah. And if it's like, you know, the rumor was that they talked chop the night before, and Weinman thought he had a big enough skill edge where he was asking for more, so it shut it down. If that's the case, then maybe you are kind of in a spot as Walton where it's like, well, fuck this guy. I need to neutralize. If he truly does have a skill edge over me, I need to neutralize it, and I need to get all the chips.
The easiest way to see all 5 cards to go all in.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, you're not jamming 8s to get called.
No.
Right? You're jamming to hope for it goes open, call, squeeze, fold, jam, fold.
Couldn't it just technically be all pairs at that point, though? Because like we don't think Weinman is calling much, if ever, with 9s, 8s, 7s, 6s, 5s.
Well, that's wherein lies like the low pair, like superiority. Where like if he has a deuces there, he unblocks all the higher pairs and still flips versus the same shit.
Right.
But at some point, there's a line because you can get counterfeit where a board comes like Jack, 6-6.
Yeah, that's
then
true.
deuce
And you
high.
also probably don't want to have like the 4s and 5s specifically because he's squeezing some suited wheel aces.
He's probably gonna squeeze some suited wheel aces, also offsuit wheel aces. Like
Right.
ace deuce off is a good one.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't block the small blind calls.
Yeah.
You have the high card block.
Maybe the Rocket Man strat here
Maybe
is
Rocket strat's decent.
6s, 7s, 8s,
Maybe.
YOLO.
Yeah, because like ace doesn't
Flip
touch ace
for
4
it.
off.
Right. Flip for it or get a fold.
Yeah.
Or run into aces.
Or, dude,
I mean, he was the chosen
it was
one.
the World Series of aces in 100. He got aces like
100%.
6 times in 160 hands.
He won. He
You're
hit
supposed to get it once every like what 216?
he hit a 2-outer worth $10 million.
Spike to jack.
And then
Is there a jack on the turn?
Right, there's a jack on the turn. And then from there was dealt aces, I think 5 times in the next 100 hands.
And it wasn't just like it goes like aces like 3-bet fold or aces folds
from-
through. It goes like aces like call check big bet call check big bet call check win.
From 9-handed down to winner, again 167 hands. From 9-handed down to winner, I think aces were dealt something like 8 times.
It's insane.
Insane.
How you all get these hands? What the fuck is this? You guys are playing a different game than me? You all play the World Series of Aces, and I'm here with the 6-4, and I was like, well, I guess I'm just folding again.
Honestly, I know that there's going to be a lot of everybody punted, Weinman was gifted this, yada, yada, yada. But I don't think that that's the case, man. I think that, like, you know, there were some setup spots. I think this was the most entertaining final table I've watched in recent history.
Yeah.
The pace of play was a
It's
welcomed
fast.
alternative to what we've seen in the past. And, like, yeah, we didn't see, like, insanely nuanced, technically sound poker. But we saw good, aggressive, hyperactive poker that, you know, led to a lot of big car crash confrontations.
Yeah, I mean...
And I think part of it is, I hate to say it, I think part of it is a byproduct of the payout structure. And I don't want to advocate for this type of structure because it's absolutely horrific.
It is not great.
But it creates action.
I mean, it
does.
definitely creates action, but at the same time, it just goes back to the Ponzi scheme type of tournaments where the
It's
person at the
especially
top
bad too
gets all the
because
money.
like since Weinman had all the chips, he's less incentivized to deal because he's against 2 weaker players as far as experience goes, as far as MTT
as far
experience.
as he's concerned.
Well, yeah, he's playing against a cash game guy who, you know, isn't going to be as
Not a tournament
experienced
guy.
in the tournament situation.
He's not going to play a 10K poker go, and he should. It's like
Right.
you play cash.
Right.
It's like you play the
Exactly.
main because it's free money.
Yeah, I mean, the
theoretically.
same thing. Like, if you just sub me out for Adam, like, it's the same thing. Wyman shouldn't deal. Like, he's
Yeah.
just going to have an edge. I'm going to do shit that isn't very technically good.
Sure, but you're not going to jam 8s there probably.
Probably not, but I would have just 3-bet them to begin with, and I
Yeah.
would have let myself off the hook.
Then you
know
get
what I mean?
4-bet, and then
I get 4-bet, and I'm scared, and maybe I peel, maybe I don't. I mean, you know, it's a shit spot altogether. You know, I'm
Danger.
gonna lose chips there, but like I probably don't go broke. But that's not to say that I shouldn't. You know,
yeah.
um,
It's weird. It's very weird when you see the hands that do exist, like call it Weinman just having aces.
yeah,
Where if Weinman has a different hand, where he has like a bluff, or he has an ace queen or like an ace king,
right.
and then has to face this and
The
then
ace
deal
king
with
would be
it.
like a really interesting
Right.
one.
Ace king, it's like, well, fuck. I mean, I guess I'm,
Tens would be a really interesting one.
yeah.
But I think like Jacks plus just snaps,
I mean,
and we just have the same result. Like we highlight it because it's aces, and it's like who
well,
gets
that's
who
what I'm
gets the
getting
nuts.
at, right?
But also, if it's just like kings or queens or jacks,
It's like
you know,
maybe
it's not
it's-
a tough spot.
Maybe it's like not the worst thing in the world. It's like
Right,
it's like a
right.
sick rocket jam, but like at the same
It's
time,
also just, I think we put so much pressure on it because it's a 1 of 1.
yeah, you're never gonna see that again.
Never. You're playing for $8 million.
Like he's never gonna
and,
get that spot again. That this exact spot won't happen again.
and also like he didn't. He just didn't care, man. My guy doesn't give a fuck. He goes, if I die, I die. I'm all in.
he turned to gutter and
I
he
know.
looked pretty. He looked pretty.
He felt good
confident.
about it.
Yeah.
He really felt good about those extra
Emergency
outs.
gutter is real.
You got some outs. What do you want?
The final hand of heads up also a bit Rocketman-ish.
I mean, the 4-minute tank fucking them all in. Is
I know
a
you
strong
didn't
one.
see it. It was interesting to watch because it was very clear he was going back and forth between calling and jamming. In a spot that, like, if you don't play much heads up, feels very uncertain. Like, I could see myself having made the mistake that Jones made with the Jack 8 prior to having any heads up experience. You have a weak holding that is really strong heads up because you have top pair, but the board's getting scary and you're facing 2E. You know, so it's like, do you really want to go call, or do you just want to end the pot now and force him to make an error? I think the issue, though, is that Weinman probably only has low equity hands and hands that beat Jack 8 when he goes 2E on the turn, right? Like after check raising flop and then turning a low middling card, it's going to be pretty difficult for him to have like a combo draw, go 2E and then call off. You know, that's just not going to be very sound strategy. He's not going to put himself in a spot where getting jammed on sucks. Not as a good pro anyway.
Yeah.
Both these idiots are on their phone. Like neither one of them heard a word I just fucking
I heard
said.
you talking. Relax. I heard you talking about the 2E strat with the Jack 8 because we've already talked about this. But like, it's just a spot where you're doing well versus bluffs, and if he has value, you're fucked. So if you jam, you make all the bluffs go away, and you make all the value call.
Well, the thing with the bluffs are that they're relatively dead. Like he's not going to have a high equity bluff because he would just size differently.
He's gonna have spades.
Yeah, I guess.
But like at the same time,
what spades?
Who knows?
Like
how
what
he
spades
constructs
really want to
pre-flop.
bet fold facing 3/4 pot jam?
I mean, some will.
Sure,
But if he has like a 3 of spades in his hand, like
that's what I
3
mean.
X of
It's
spades,
tough on
you just,
that board. He check raised Jack 5 deuce, and then the turn is just an offsuit 4.
yeah. I mean, if he has 7 6 of spades, he's just like, well, fuck it, we ball.
That's what I mean. I don't think he would even 2E that hand though.
Yeah, maybe he just picks a different size.
Like either he doesn't check raise it on the flop or he picks a different size. You know what I mean? Like
there's a lot of weird things that happen when you choose certain sizing schemes
Yeah.
where the bluffs are hard to find.
they become a little bit harder. Like it would make sense that he has like 4x of diamonds, I think, where he turns middle pair.
But just checks the turn.
Yeah, maybe.
You have a pair, you beat
You
a
have like
deuce.
4 or 5 of diamonds.
That's 2 pair.
Oh, sorry, like 4-3 of diamonds.
That's pair open-ended. You just check.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
6-4, you just check.
Okay, so then like 3x of diamonds.
Sure, but then you fold it.
Yeah, you fold it. That's what I'm saying. Like you're gonna have equity with your bluffs,
There's
but it's gonna be
some,
relatively
Like
low.
you have king 3 of diamonds or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Precisely. King 3 of
Queen
diamonds,
three.
queen 3 of diamonds,
But at the same time, you have to find those in the first place, and Weinman's not a heads-up guy.
6x of diamonds. Yeah.
It's like you're looking for things that are tougher to inherently find.
Right.
Where now, if he has a bet, it's kind of likely it's a bet call, and that's
Yes.
not nice for you.
Exactly.
When you have this kind of hand.
And I think like having the 8 of diamonds is probably not great. Not that he's gonna have a ton of 8, 6 of diamonds, but like it's
I
it's
mean,
a thing.
the hand just
8,
plays
5 of diamonds.
the hand just
3 of
plays as like a
diamonds.
pure green.
Right.
Like it's a pure green for the reasons that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like the way the theory works is when it comes to full circle, allowed, not allowed, is there some mechanics that should be followed.
Right.
This is a mechanic where it's if you jam, you get called by better.
The big thing, yeah, that's the biggest thing to put a heightened emphasis on is the man check raised and bet. So like there's value in that range. You don't want to get value cut when you jam a hand like top pair.
Yeah.
Like the goal is not to get value cut by this big chunk of Weinman's range and then protect against this small aspect of bluffs.
Yeah, you're trying to like protect a very small piece of the pie.
How big
Yeah.
was the jam for?
3/4 spot. It was 2E on turn, so he bet 3/4 with 3/4 behind.
Gotcha.
And even when he didn't snap and he got jammed on, right? He was like,
No, I mean, you're afraid that like he's just trying to protect with ace jack or queens or kings type of hands.
well, yeah, I mean, it's not fun.
It's not fun, but like you
Here
call.
we are. Yeah, it's not fun, but here we are.
I mean, he has. I think as played, Weinman has his worst jack. and
yeah,
king jack.
Probably king jack, queen jack.
Probably doesn't take this line queen jack or worse. Like may
Queen
check
jack,
raise check.
queen jack would be like top, potentially.
Yeah, but yes.
and then you would like be indifferent versus jam,
right.
and like you're not happy.
And that's the thing. Is
The
like,
jam also just doesn't really come in.
correct. And that's the thing. If he had just called river ace, probably goes check check.
Yeah.
Saves him a little bit.
Sometimes you just want to go home.
Yeah, we're not being hypercritical of the spot. Like, look, we're just analyzing a hand that got played.
This is what it is. It just is what it is.
But it's a $6 million hand, bro.
Big pot.
It's a big fucking pot. This is a 170 big blind pot. It's tough.
mean, yeah. I remember seeing when John Sin won the main and had trips against Tony. And he's just like fucking
That hand was wild.
in the blender where he's like, I mean, I'm calling, but I'm not happy about it because it's in the main and we're heads up for millions of dollars. And I
Yeah.
have 3 queens or whatever it is.
Right, 3 kings.
It's like I call.
Yeah, king jack, yeah.
And then Tony had worse value, right?
Tony was merging, I guess. He had
He
it
had a
was
pair
like
or something?
it was like king queen king X and Tony had like I think queen 8.
Yeah.
I just
And
like
it's
went for it.
Yeah, and honestly, there is something to be said about taking some time in these bigger pots. Like when you make snap lightning decisions, you might make a decision. You
I
regret.
thought Adam did, or not Adam. I thought Jones did a great job of that. Like he spent 4 minutes before jamming. He arrived at maybe the lesser conclusion.
Yeah, it
but
wasn't
like,
even about the hand, just in general.
at least he got comfortable with the shove. You know, that's the biggest thing you want to walk away from. If you're going to play a heads-up match for $6 million, you want to put the money in a way that you can say, like, I feel okay about that.
Yeah, maybe some reservations after you see the hand and be
Yeah,
like,
of course.
but like, welcome to
poker.
Welcome to poker.
That's what makes it so brutal, man.
Every hand is
You're playing an 80 big blind heads-up match for $6 million when your regular stakes are probably like 1K buy-ins.
Yeah, every hand is an existential crisis.
What a fucking life, man.
Why am I doing this?
What a life. Big shout out to Daniel Weinman, our 2023 main event champion.
You mean Daniel Weinman?
Weinman.
He changed his Twitter handle.
Of course he did. I saw it in his bio. He said, Jacks are my favorite hand.
There was something along the lines of he tweeted something in 2019 like 0 for 10 in the main event.
Yeah.
Achievement unlocked.
Achievement unlocked.
I wouldn't mind going 0 for 10 and then winning the main
1 for
15
11 is
years
pretty
later.
nice.
Yeah.
Big shout out to him, friend of the pod. Hopefully we can get him on here before he heads back east. But
Talk about
if
spiking
not,
a jack.
just congratulations to him. I'm heading out here to Florida tomorrow evening, so I'll be here for tomorrow's podcast. We're going to be joined by Andrew Barber. We're going to talk about WSOP versus WPT and their decision to schedule conflicting series in December. We're going to talk a little bit about the market strategy behind that and what our opinions are. I'll be heading out tomorrow evening. If anybody is in Florida, I'm going to be at the Daytona Poker Club or Daytona Poker Room from Thursday until I believe Monday. So be sure to head over there. We're going to be hosting some meetup games, doing some stream stuff, and just throwing a little bit of a party. I'm going to be playing a little bit more normal stakes for a few days while I chill on the beach.
You're going to be rich at the end.
God, I hope so. Let's get rich, baby. Leave the crew for you guys. They'll be handling Thursday and Friday show. We're going to have guests for both. And then we're going to be dark next week. But like I said, we're going to be releasing Poker Out Loud Season 2 for everybody to watch. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this late night pod. We'll be back tomorrow. What time do you guys want to go tomorrow? Noon?
Yeah, noon sounds good.
All right. Noon it is.
I don't think I have anything to do.
All right. We will see you guys tomorrow, noon sharp, with Andrew Barber. See you guys then.
Later, squad.
Beep, 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 beep.